Now you have seen 4 examples of vertex formula method. I'm going to do the same types of problems using completing square method. Okay, so to complete the square, we have to make a perfect square. Okay, that's the goal really. We have to make a perfect square that we can factor. And in order to do that, we have to look at the very last number that they gave us, plus 71. 71 is not a perfect square. Okay, what we need here is 64. Okay, and I'll tell you where we get 64 from in just a second. But 71, this is not, if you see this is not factorable. This is not factorable. Okay, so what you will do is you will temporarily move that 71 to the other side. Okay, so we will temporarily move that constant to the other side. I'll go ahead and make a little arrow there. It's going to just go to the other side and wait while the other ones are becoming a perfect square trinomial, okay? So if I move it, I will have f of x minus 71, right? Because I temporarily moved it to the other side by subtracting 71 from both sides. And this equals x squared plus 16x, okay? What we will do is we will make a perfect square trinomial by adding a number to both sides of the equal sign, okay? So give me 1 second. I wonder if I can just copy this, duplicate this, but I'm gonna go ahead and make some room and to say that I will be adding a number to both sides, okay? So I often ask my students, what goes in the box? Okay, I am adding something to both sides. Okay, the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make the right hand side a perfect square. And this is how you figure out what goes in the box. Okay, take half of b and square it. That is how you figure out what goes in the box. What is b? B is 16, right? So you do 16 divided by 2 and you have to square that. That is how you find what goes in the box. Okay, half of 16 is 8. 8 squared is 64. So you plug in 64 into, or add 64 to both sides. Okay, and why did we just do that? That's a very good question. So let's think about what we just made. The left-hand side, let's go ahead and just simplify that a little bit. Can you add negative 71 plus 64? Let's combine these two constants. Guys, I'm so lazy now. I do everything in calculators. It's a basic arithmetic. It's okay. I can do other ones. Okay, so if I do negative 71 plus 64, that comes out to be negative 7. So the left-hand side, I have f of x minus 7, and I got that from combining, okay? Now I want you to look at the right-hand side, and let me go ahead and put a highlight over here. Okay, I'll go ahead and circle this in yellow. This is significant. Why? Because this is a perfect square trinomial that we can factor into x plus 8 squared. Okay? If you FOIL this, you will get that out, right? Because 8 times 8 is 64. 8 plus 8 is 16. Now we're doing very good, and we just have one more step left, okay? If I want to solve this for f of x, I want to cancel out that minus 7. It's time for this guy to come back, okay? So let's go ahead and send this minus 7 back, okay, by adding 7 to both sides. So your final answer is x plus 8 squared plus 7. Now let's see if this matches the answer that we got using the vertex formula method. F of x equals 1, x plus 8 squared plus 7. So they are the same. So what is this, right? What is this cool method? It's like you're trying to organize a room, right? You're trying to organize a room by making a perfect square. But this plus 71 wasn't just plain nice. So what we did was we move it to the other side, bring in another professional, bring in another perfect square that we could make into a perfect square, a binomial squared, and we move that number back, okay? I don't know. So it's a cool method. I really like this method later when I solve quadratic functions, quadratic equations, okay? I don't really use quadratic formula too much because I like using completing square method. But honestly, if all I need to do is write a quadratic into a vertex form, I like the vertex formula method better. But the reason I'm showing you this completing the square method today is because when we do section 2.4, I'm going to use this method to solve quadratic equations because I'm not a big fan of quadratic formula. Okay? I'm going to show you one more. All right, what is the equation that we are working with? This. Copy this down here and then I'll get started. So what am I going to do first? I'm going to move that minus 59 to the other side, okay? Because I want to make a perfect square. So if I move that to the other side, I will have f of x. It was a minus 59, so it will be plus 59 over here. And on the other side, I only have x squared minus 14x. What I will do is I will add something to both sides of this equation. So let me duplicate this line, but I'm going to give a room and say that I am adding a number to both sides, whatever that number is, okay? And what is that number? What should we add to both sides? We should add a perfect square, okay? And that perfect square is from take half of negative 14 and square it, okay? Negative 14, half of negative 14 is negative 7, but when you square that, that is 49. You will never add a negative number because you will always square it, which will take care of the minus sign. So if you add 49 to both sides, okay, let's go ahead and simplify the left-hand side. F of x, you're going to have to combine these two numbers, 59 plus 49. What's that going to be? 108. I don't trust myself, guys. I'm going to search it. I'm going to use a calculator to do it. So if I do 59 plus 49, what is it? It is 108. Okay, all right, 108. And let's do the other side. Equal sign. The other side, I need to factor. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this trinomial that you and I will factor together. So what times what is 49? Well, what plus what is 14? See, that's the question, right? So, you know, to make negative 14, I need the number to be negative. And I'm going to pick 7 because negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. And if you do negative 7 plus negative 7, you get 14. Now we're almost done. All we need to do is move this 108 to the other side by subtracting 108. If I do that, my final answer is f of x equals x minus 7 squared minus 108. I'm going to zoom out and see if this is exactly the same as what we got using a different method, okay? Look at that. We did get the same answer using the vertex formula. So it is up to you which one you use on your homework this week. But like I said, both are very, very good method, okay? I'm going to stop this video because completing the square method for cases like C and D, when leading coefficient is not equal to 1, they get a little bit more challenging, okay? So definitely for C and D, I will use a vertex formula method, but I will still show you because I think you guys can learn that one too, okay?